And I'll share that from my own experience. I had trouble with recruiting, and I realized I was a 1-star company on Glassdoor. Essentially, that you've got to build a limb for each city and a branch for each service. So if you go to ramblinjackson.com/reviews, I publish my reviews, including the negative ones. Learn answers to frequently asked sales and marketing questions from landscape professionals just like you in today's episode of the Landscaper's Guide podcast, where I share real footage from the Q&A portion of my recent keynote at Landscape Cod. My name's Jack Jostes, and welcome to the Landscaper's Guide podcast. This show is all about growing your snow and landscape company with sales, leadership, and marketing ideas. So let's get started with the answer to a frequently asked question about how do you get more reviews from your landscape maintenance clients? Kristen.
Quickly looked at my Facebook reviews, and they're a little lower than I Googled, and I'm definitely thinking about specifically going after Facebook reviews to bring that number up.
I love that.
And while I'm speaking, I have a question. I have had a lot of success procuring reviews from construction customers. We're finished with a project. It's all smiles and handshakes. They're very happy. They don't necessarily need me again right away. So they're thrilled to go on and, put out a detailed review. Maintenance customers, I have a lot of, why I wouldn't want to overload you or give away my landscaper that I need on a regular basis. It's just like giving away your babysitter's phone number or your plumber's phone number.
Right.
They're like, I don't think
they feel like you're their person.
Because they don't want you to get overloaded and not be able to service their property. I've had that specific answer several times. When I've asked for maintenance.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. First, how many of you work with other contractors? Go review them. There's something I learned at a networking group called Giver's Gain. So go see what happens. Go write some Google reviews, and you could ask them to review you. So that could be something that you do. If you have a irrigation sub or your carpenter or whoever, right? If you have various subs or you all have your branded shirts, I don't know where you bought them. That person probably has a Google listing and would appreciate a review. So that's one thing. Answering the objection of, hey, I don't want to share you with anyone. I would just say, well, how could you be so selfish? No, I'm kidding. No, I would try and tell them a joke and be like, look, I appreciate your concern. However, we only take on the best customers, and we appreciate working with you because you're kind and respectful. So we're only looking for a handful of customers. We're not looking to do anything. We'd never do anything to lose you, Mrs. Smith, or whatever, right? So I don't know. I would try and use some humor and answer the objection, and then systematically ask each and every other customer.
Kind of jumping off with the Google, we at our tree service, we work with a lot of different landscapers. Does that look bad if it's one of us jumping on personally and how it shows on your profile that you 20 reviews or something? It's just us leaving reviews for
So I think the question was, hey, does it look bad if I've left a review for all of these Google listings? And I don't know, I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people aren't going to get super far into the weeds of clicking on your profile. I do that, and I know what you're talking about. And that's again why I think having a volume of them is important. And I know the Cape is a small community and a lot of people know each other. So here's what you don't want to do. If your name is Egan, do not get a review from Jake Egan. That's your name, right? So I had a client in Boulder, and this lady owned the business, and she had reviews from 3 people with her last name. I'm like, we all know what you did there, right? And so that's something I wouldn't do, but I wouldn't worry too much about reviewing other people. I also wouldn't write a fake review. So I wouldn't write a review for like my buddy from the association who I've never hired. And if I did, I might qualify. I've known Mike from the Cape Cod Landscape Association for 10 years. He's a reputable contractor that I refer to. Okay, now at least I've qualified the relationship instead of misleading people that, Mike mows my lawn when he doesn't.
Is there a way to get around a testimonial for the company you work for? I did a thing for Egan. I've been 9 years now. Wrote it up, said how great the company is, and then it kicked me out.
Where did you write it?
It was a while ago.
I think it was Google.
It was Google, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Google. Yeah.
I don't know. This is another reason to get into a volume of them is Google like deletes reviews. They're not your property. They're the intellectual property of the person who wrote it. So it could be that you got flagged for spam for some reason. How many of you are an employee of a company? I hope that you really enjoy working where you work. If you don't, you should have a conversation with the person who brought you here, right? You're in person, like have an adult conversation. And if you do enjoy it, go write a review for them on Glassdoor and Indeed. It would really help your company out, especially if you're like, oh man, I'm so stressed because we can't hire anyone. And I'm doing all this extra work. Go write a review on Indeed and Glassdoor because that helps your organization with recruiting. So that's my kind of tip for you would be, hey, go write one on Indeed and write one on Glassdoor. And if you're not happy, talk to George in person.
I did both.
Okay. So that's, and I'll share that from my own experience. I had trouble with recruiting and I realized I was a 1-star company on Glassdoor. This was like 10 years ago. And honestly, I hadn't even heard of Glassdoor. The way that I found out about Glassdoor was I learned that I had a negative review average there because I had one review. And I'm like, hey, team, we had a pizza lunch. I'm like, guys, I'm bringing in pizza. And I basically said, hey, if we have a beef, let's talk. Let me help you. If we don't, I need your help. And please write a review on Indeed and Glassdoor. And people did. And then we became like a 4.3 and it solved the recruiting problem. You, sir.
Regarding net promoter scores,
Yes.
is this basically something that would be more of like an internal referral from a customer per se? Like you asked a question like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So the question is net promoter score like an internal thing? I do it publicly. So if you go to ramblinjackson.com/reviews, I publish my reviews, including the negative ones. Including the negative ones. And the reason is, how many of you have ever bought anything on Amazon? How many of you ordered something from Amazon during the talk? Anybody? It's okay. I'm just kidding. Sometimes it's tempting. I know. But the point is, how many of you ever sort on Amazon for negative reviews and then read them? Right? Of course you do. So when you see an Amazon product with a perfect 5-star review average, you're like, I don't know. How could there be, so the reason I'm saying this is a lot of people are like, we don't want anyone to see anything negative about the company ever. And I'm like, no, put it out there and reply publicly. Show people what do you do when people are upset. It's an opportunity to, if you were, and wow, I have one guy, I can't believe I'm like, people can see this, right? And it's like, this person, and I'm like, let's talk to me and then let me help you write something polite as a reply. It should be like, hey, thanks so much for it should be different, by the way, because it was a client in Massachusetts and they posted the same response to every negative review. And then they started getting reviews about how the company doesn't listen and just posts their canned response. And it was clear that, yeah, actually that is what this company does. And they got a review. They created a house account with their own name in it and wrote a review of themselves. It's like, man, this looks really bad. So we got to have a bunch of reviews. I would, to answer your question, even collecting that promoter score alone is valuable because it gives you the opportunity to respond to somebody who's feeling a 6. maybe feeling 6 out of 10, I'm not unhappy enough to write a negative review on Google, but I'd probably fire you at the end of my contract. Whereas if I'm feeling a 6 and you call me, you take care of me, like, that's really what I want. I don't really want to hire a new landscape company. I want you to take care of me. So I like to publish them because, and this is a key thing, testimonials and reviews are different things. So a testimonial is when you take something, edit it, and put it on your website. That has less trust and influence on AI and search engines than a review that a customer wrote. So that's why I'm all about let the negative reviews go. That's why I'm all about let the negative reviews go. I have one on there. It's some guy who's like on my email list that's never hired me, and it's kind of funny. And I just replied like, "Hey, you can click unsubscribe. I took care of it for you." And people read that and they're like, "Oh, this is some random person on his email list, and he wasn't a jerk about it."
So that was actually my question, was about the negative reviews. I have a background in marketing, so I'm familiar with that piece. But I did see on the example you shared, there was a response to a positive review. And
Yeah.
my question is, what are kind of best practices? Obviously, you're not going to be able to respond to every single
Why not?
review. I don't know.
So I want to share, I spoke at the Rainbird Select Contractor Conference in Riviera Maya, Mexico. And we stayed at this incredible resort, and somebody there, one of the servers by the pool, was like, "Hey, would you write a review and mention my name? It's Marcos." And my wife loved Marcos. We had a great time. So we wrote a review. My wife wrote a review, and within hours, they responded and said, and it was an actual personal reply. So I guess I'm just challenging, why can't you reply? How many do you have?
Yeah, we're growing that. So.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Is it, I mean, like, are you getting thousands a day? Are you getting like 10 a month? Like, I mean, like, you could reply. It takes, like, I actually do it on my phone. I have the Google Maps app on my phone. When I get a Google review, I get a little alert and I reply and I say, "Hey, thanks. First name for work. I appreciate you working with Ramlin Jackson, CEO, Jack Jostes." And I reply instantly. So that's how I do it. That's how there's kind of meeting people where they're at. Like, if you all could simply ask people, if you could even ask one person for a Google review, that would be an amazing step. If you went all the way and had a contest and you used a software and you had QR codes, that would be amazing. But I know that getting from here to there takes a lot of work. So it would be best to reply to every Google review. And good or bad, "Hey, thank you." And why not call them? "Hey, thanks so much for leaving a Google review. You could spend 2 minutes. Hey, it's George. Thanks for leaving a Google review. I appreciate it." "Wow, I can't believe George called me." They're going to feel amazing, right? These are little things that people would love. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode. I love talking with people like you with the landscape industry. So if you enjoyed this episode and you know somebody who's the event coordinator or somebody who schedules speakers at landscape industry trade shows, maybe your supplier has an education series, please send this to them and tell them to check out ramblinjackson.com/speaking to learn more about working with me as a speaker. And I hope to see you at my next event. I've got in-person and online events coming up. So check those out at landscapersguide.com/events. See a link to our show notes for that. And again, my name's Jack Jostes, and I look forward to talking with you in the next episode of the Landscaper's Guide podcast.